Hey guys, how's it going? It's 8-Bit Eric. Welcome back to the channel. We are finally going to sit down and give my full in-depth review and thoughts on Outriders. So I played Outriders on Xbox. It was part of Game Pass, and I was like, wow, that was a huge deal that Xbox was going to be having it day one on Game Pass. So I took the idea of playing the PlayStation 5 version completely out the window. I was like, I'm just going to enjoy it on Game Pass. I don't want to pay $70 for a game that I might not like. And I'm kind of glad I dove into it. Now, I played this game non-stop since it came out. I've played it a couple times on stream. I've played it a couple times on my own. I have to say, this game is 1,000 times better than I thought it would be. You know, immediately when you hear of a game that is server-based, you think of a lot of microtransactions and a lot of just nonsense that you have to pay on top of that. Well, I'm proud to say that People Can Fly, the developers of this game, I believe they made Gears Tactic as well, have every single thing unlockable through gameplay in here. There's no additional content to purchase. Knock on wood, I hope they don't ever add it. But the complete game is in here. Main quest, side missions, unlockables, post-game content, everything you can want about it. Now, Outriders kind of has a cheesy sci-fi movie plot. I'm not going to spoil too much of it or delve too much into it, but basically you land on a brand new planet with your group, the Outriders. Your goal is to basically colonize it. A betrayal happens. You get chronologically frozen. You get unthawed, and everything's gone to hell. It's become like a dystopian planet. So you've missed everything from when you land on the planet to colonize it to what's going on. And the game kind of does have a Gears vibe. It's kind of like if Gears, Skyrim, Destiny 2, and other games similar to that kind of had a hybrid baby. So you control your character. There's some customization options. It's not really in depth. I just chose randomize and I had my character out there. And you complete missions. Now, the game itself does feel quite linear. It's not a huge open world game, but based on what chapter you're in, you kind of get an area that you can fast travel from certain points. You unlock little fast travel flags, and you could go and explore, find different, chests that contain items. You can harvest stone or iron. You can grind by killing enemies. But for the most part, the game is kind of from point A to point B. There are side missions here or there. In total, I would say the main quest probably takes about 16 hours if you just go directly point A to point B to each main quest mission, which seems kind of short, but there is a lot of replay value for this game, especially because it incorporates a mechanic called world tiers, where based on what level you're at with the world tier is how difficult the game is. It'll change everything from the boss fights to how many enemies are on screen, to how much damage and hit points each enemy takes, to what loot you find, what kind of loot drops, what kind of items. You can get legendary items, which is the highest. You can get epic. It's almost kind of like how Destiny and Fortnite label their items and their armor. They're color coded with certain colors like purple and legendary being the highest, and then there's green and white and blue. So there's a lot of different items and stuff that you can acquire. You can equip your character. You can upgrade these. There's some crafting that you unlock eventually. You can level up the rarity. You can level up the strength, the perks. You can add modifiers to your equipment. These modifiers are based on your character's class. So when you start the game, you can be a pyromancer. You can be a trickster. There's a few other things, and they kind of add a different element, like spells almost. This is where I say it kind of plays like Skyrim, where the pyromancer, you're able to do fire-based spells that can shoot across the screen and turn your enemy into a flaming pile of ash. And there's a strategy behind the class as well. And as you level up, you get class points and skill points that go towards unlocking your class tree that allows you to have different powers. It can change your the percentage that you take or the percentage of your cooldown, standard RPG stuff. So it does honestly sound like there's a lot here if you're taking it in. It sounds like it's a pretty in-depth game, but it was easy to pick up on and figure out. One downside to the game is once you start your class, you're stuck with that class unless you start a brand new character, like a brand new game, and you play as that. So I guess the replay value is if you want to go back and play older missions as a different class, you can always do that. Or once you beat the game, there's expeditions that you can do. There's some post-game content. There's side quests. Or you can go back to a story point in the game and play through with higher powers and higher armor and weapon ratings and stuff like that. Now, the combat plays like a standard run and gun. It's almost kind of like, I would say, like Gears or, you know, any kind of game like that. You take cover behind rocks and walls and stuff, and you select a, you know, 2 main weapons and a pistol. I like to use a long shot like a sniper, a heavy machine gun, and a decent handgun. You can also melee attack, and you see these enemies also taking cover on the screen, and you have to kind of like strategize yourself between taking cover and avoiding them. They can attack you from all around. They could sneak up behind you. The enemy AI is actually pretty smart in this game. I'm really impressed with it. The one thing I would have liked to have seen integrated in Outriders is a companion system. There wasn't one. I would have liked to have like a Skyrim or a Fallout companion system where you'll have like a partner AI fight you. Now, this game is extremely difficult. I've found myself having difficulty even at World Tier 4 and 5. If that means I suck at video games, then so be it. But some of the boss fights and situations in this game get pretty overwhelming, especially when you get like 20 enemies coming at you from all directions. But it was a pretty enjoyable game. Definitely one that is grind heavy, one that gets addictive, going back and trying to find what kind of new loot drops you can get, customizing your character's armor and everything like that. The main issue that this game suffered from, especially during launch, was its server issues. A lot of times you weren't able to connect. Even if you're playing solo, you have to connect to the server, and I think that sucks. I think solo player should be able to be played and enjoyed offline, but I think that's how certain things like randomization of loot works in this game. I have no idea why, but this is a game that requires a constant internet connection, unfortunately. On top of that, you could do co-op missions, so you can have up to a party of 4. I could not matchmake. To this day, there were still issues with matchmaking. I eventually would like to do that. This is a game that I do plan on keeping a hold of because I would like to see some additional content. I don't want to, again, there's that rumor that nothing's going to be added to this because People Can Fly doesn't believe in DLC, like paying for stuff, like additional content. But this game apparently is doing pretty good despite server issues. I could see them hopefully adding some kind of like post-game additional content, maybe possibly for free? I don't know. I would like to see that. I think Square Enix and People Can Fly did a great job with this game. It's definitely worth a look. If $70 is too much for you, if you have Game Pass, you can play it as part of your membership. Pretty impressive. I would like to see where this franchise goes continuing forward if they decide to do anything with it. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's worth a look, guys. Anyways, thanks a lot for watching as always. I'll see you on the next one. Peace out.